Hey there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. The notion is simple. Maintain a positive state of mind, and positive things are more likely to become you. Let yourself dwell in a negative state of mind, and negative things are more likely to happen in your reality. One of the most simplistic explanations as to why this is the way that it is has to do with perspective. I once had a random perspective quote just kind of enter my mind. It was the very first thing that I thought when I woke up that day, and it was in a kind of like strange cowboy voice. It went something along the lines of, perspective is a funny thing. It's got a way of making you feel certain ways about certain things. When we allow our minds to enter a negative framework, say one caused by fear, we go into a state of scarcity and our perspectives narrow. We see very few solutions to our problems, and we may end up succumbing to negativity or hopelessness. When we practice brandishing a positive state of mind or a positive perspective and make a point to make sure we maintain within a positive mental framework, we're more likely to enter and remain in a state of abundance versus a state of scarcity. When we enter this state, not only do we gain the ability to acknowledge the possibilities and opportunities that are directly in front of us, but we also get a bit of a leisurely creative boost to help us assemble otherwise undetectable opportunities that may be there but not necessarily apparent to us. New Thought philosophy refers to this as the law of attraction, which can be summed up with the saying, one inevitably becomes what he or she thinks about. If he or she thinks about nothing, then he or she becomes nothing. When looking for tried and true methods of brandishing positive perspective with the intent of crafting one's reality, we look at the concept of mantras and positive affirmations. In some Eastern philosophies, it is believed that words have the ability to shape the outcome of certain scenarios. When I say words, also think of it as being words that you say to yourself, your internal dialogue. You may have seen this belief expressed in the notion of an individual who consistently talks about how ill or how desolate their life scenarios are at any particular moment, only to realize that they are continuously granted the same style of experience. Things never improve, or they always seem to be in a chaotic state. The idea is that the individual has created a narrow or negative perspective for themselves, unknowingly robbing themselves of an abundance of potential outcomes. By engaging in positive thinking or the verbal repetition of a positive phrase or word, it is possible to better position yourself to accept a desirable outcome versus a non-desirable one. If this seems a little strange to you, then that's because it is. But ultimately, just remember that affirmations can literally be composed of any statement or series of words that you feel embodies your objective or desired state. It's kind of a big deal. I personally tend to be afflicted by waves of self-doubt. People often tell me that I'm my worst critic, which I think a lot of us are. It's kind of a normal thing to go extra hard on yourself. But, that's how it goes. One method that I've used to overcome some of the negative aspects of this affliction would be to, from time to time, repeat this very simplistic mantra to myself. I trust in my inner wisdom and intuition. That simple. After stopping, really stopping, and saying this to myself in a repetitious manner, the number of times you say it is really irrelevant. I kind of like to repeat the affirmation until I find myself in a bit of what I would refer to as a trance, I guess, where you are, I guess your mind is just basically in a relatively present but passive state. You won't know when you're in it, but you'll know when you're not in it. So after engaging in this affirmation, I'm usually rewarded with additional focus and basically absolvement of the aforementioned self-doubt. And I may need to engage in the affirmation, periodically throughout a project, but ultimately the results are always the same. I can move forward effectively and efficiently Hooray! It really is a beautiful thing. Oh, really, it's wonderful. You should really try it. No? No? Okay, well, I'm not a fun forcer, so. So yeah, if you aren't already, definitely experiment with conditioning yourself to maintain a positive perspective. Try experimenting with the concept of positive affirmations and mantras. Also keep in mind that this practice is very similar to like lifting or working out. It's all about repetition. It's all about continuity. The more you do it, the more effective you become. Practice makes perfect. I hope you found this brief discussion to be helpful in some fashion. Feel free to share your thoughts or experience in the comment section below. And thank you so very much for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it. I love you and goodbye.